It's not, it's in the brain. And I just noticed somebody having a connecting to the cloud server. So I'm going to make sure that my internet is plugged in well so I don't lose you. I'm going to find my plug. And in the meantime, I'm going to preface and show you the next slide, which has a picture on it that I want to make sure everyone can see. So you're going to have to make sure that you move around your images of the people, because what's important is that you can see this next picture. Now, please do not unmute or put in the chat box what it is a picture of yet. I just want to make sure that you can see it. So if anybody can't see it, let's make sure we adjust so that we can. All right, so first off is, can we all see this picture? I'm plugging in to make sure I don't lose you. Somebody feel free to put something in the chat box saying, I can't see it, or ask for help from Lindsay or me or Rich. Anybody cannot see this picture? A couple things come in the chat box. Okay, somebody, if you only see a person, then what you're going to need to do is change your view so that you are, in fact, sometimes it helps if I stop share and reshare. So let me try that for you. Okay, now, can everyone see this picture? Lindsay's giving me a thumbs up, thank you. All right, so now, some of you may have seen this before if you've seen the video Fat City by Richard Lavoie, which stands for Fear, Anxiety, and Tension. The subtitle is How Difficult Can This Be? Kate R., you might need to change your view.
Thank you for doing that dishes and putting that laundry away.
Since I'm not sure how to help with that. You might have to change your viewing so that you're not seeing the people that you're seeing. Okay, thank you. All right. So if you have seen the movie Fat City, please don't give this away. But if you have not seen the movie Fat City by Richard Lavoie, please give me a heads up saying, I can tell what that is, even though I've never seen this before. Give me a raised hand, a thumbs up, or a note in the chat box. Thanks, Beth. You don't know what it is. Awesome. Lindsay, have you seen this before? And so let me know someone who can tell me what it is, but you've never seen it before. Seeing lots of no ideas. I love seeing that when there were people, stamps, some elephants. All right, some people, now Christy, I've seen a couple people saying what it actually is. Kaylee Green, have you ever seen this before?
I have not.
Kaylee Green, you see what it is, and it is very, very rare. I've seen a couple of people, Tiffany's seeing a cow. A few people are seeing that cow. I did this once for a room full of 50 people and one person raised her hand. So, you know, inevitably in 200 people, we've got a few people. So people are saying a map, a lady. Okay, let's help you. So one where I said this is going to help counteract the myth that dyslexia is in the eyes, not the brain. I'm not going to change this. Some people are seeing the cow now. I'm going to help you out with that. I'm going to move my thing so I can get to the next. Where's my mover forward? There we go, it's down there. All right, so now you see the cow? Now let's go back. Now you see the cow? I'll do that again. This is so much more fun to do in person because you hear the, oh. So there's the cow, see that the extension of the head? Now see it again. So is there anybody who still can't see it? Raise your hand, give me a thumbs up. Yes, I see Vera. So now you see there's the ear, here's the other ear, the top of the head, the skull coming down here. And as Mikhail, I think it's Mikhail Olson says, once you've seen it, you can't unsee it. I always find it fascinating when people tell me what they think they see instead. Like someone said they saw a person or a map or a stamp. And I look at that and I think, how do you see anything other than a cow? Because that's what my brain is attuned to. So it's a perception thing that my brain makes sense of this. because, and it's the same thing that you see those words up at the top, visual perception. For all of us who are good readers, we can't not read those words.
Hi. Hi.
Hi. We look at that and our brains are automatically tuned to reading those words. There's another simulation that some people like to do called the Stroop Test. And I'm not going to actually do it with you, but I'm going to let you, actually I'm going to copy and paste this. Whoops, no, I'm not for there. But I will copy and paste this URL in later when we're doing a breakout room. But this is the same concept that you can't not read those words. If I put some words on there and told you don't read them, you're not going to be able to not read them because our eyes are so attuned to paying attention to those words. So if I asked you to tell me the name of the animal that is behind the word, not the word itself, you're going to struggle because we're paying attention to those words. Our eyes are attuned to them because we have what's called a mental orthographic map of those words, and we've created meaning to that. So now that we're seeing a contradictory meaning, it's going to slow us down. And this is exactly why when we do something like a rapid automatic naming, Renee's not struggling with it. This one is one for kids. Another one that they do is they'll put the names of colors in different colors. And so you'll see the word red, but it's in black text. And so you're asked to say the name of the color, not what the word says. And that can be very confusing as well to our brains because we're looking at, we're getting some confusion in the input and what we're seeing here. And there are tests like that one and this, which help me retrieve the information and help me see when I struggle to retrieve information, which is one of the things that individuals with dyslexia struggle with. All right, so let's get into some reading. So I'm gonna try, we're gonna do a whole group thing, but then I'm gonna actually break us into, I can't do a screen share with that. I'm going to need some volunteers. So if you are willing, you're going to be unmuted because you're gonna do some reading for us. So I'm going to make sure that I've got everyone who can see this will be taking our volunteers. So let's go ahead and start with this first one. Now, I do want to preface it with two things. One, this is a simulation. I'm making it difficult for you. This is not how kids actually see. However, I did have some kids who would say they felt like the letters were going like this. This is also going to make it difficult for you. Thank you, Vera. For the PD, BQ, you're going to have some spatial orientation issues. And there will be some other pieces that get into the way of the reading. So I have a Vera who's willing to start us off, but I do want some others who maybe are not so confident as well to unmute. So Vera, will you start us with just the very first, make it my annotate feature so I can give us a little pointer. You're going to start here.
Okay.
And the reason why I'm saying that is because I've had people start here and then that was kind of difficult for us.
Right.
You're going to start here and you're going to end at the period.
And I promise that I did not study this beyond kind of trying to understand what the first lines were doing. Come on, said Betsy. We have to oh dear. Cupid round, wow.
Well, you've gone, whoops. You've gone, come on.
I can't read that.
No, why not? I see the problem is the roller ball. All right, you've gone beyond where the first period, so we'll give you a break, Vera. We'll take another volunteer. Someone unmute. Where are all my teachers? There's one. Good. I can't see your name because it's CHQ Burkle, which you're saying no. Sim.
Yeah, my son just did that. Now he's laughing. So sure, I can read. Start with.
All right.
Where do you want me to start?
Right here.
We have to getting stuck. Yeah, getting stuck right there. I don't know what that says.
Someone's trying to help you, even though it's not their turn. You look in the chat box, you might see
It's a P.
Q.
I have to pick up this. Yeah, I don't know. I have to pick up this cron.
Actually, this should be right here.
This corn.
It didn't go well in translation. Exactly. Thank you. Is that Brooke?
Yes.
All right, we got through the first couple sentences there. Keep us going. See who's next on my list here. Keep us going. Sarah, will you please read the next? She got to here. I think Sarah Brown is hoping that there's more than one Sarah.
I totally was.
I mean, I can go, I can read it. It says, we don't have another can of corn.
Well, what kind of corn, Sarah?
Another can of, yeah, I'm stuck right there, something corn.
Sarah Brown, can you help her out with that word?
Popcorn.
I didn't think that was Sarah Brown, but I think that was Susan. All right, we've gotten to here.
Sorry.
Sarah Brown, you ready to keep going?
All right, we're starting. Are we going to eat?
You're getting a lot of support from the chat box.
Yeah. Multitasking. Popcorn. That's where we're at. Popcorn that's been, here we go. We're cheating here. Been on the floor. That's been on the floor.
Okay.
Right.
Oh, finish us off there, whole line.
Oh, okay. As
Sorry.
Susan.
Ask Susan. All right. Thank you, Susan. Sarah. I almost said Susan there. All right. How about Tracy Burke? Will you read the next line for us and be careful, please?
We can wash it, Betsy answered.
Oh my goodness, she's awesome. How about Ryan Neitzel? Follow up on that.
Nope.
Tracy Silva.
That's a good idea, said Susan.
All right. Mary Driscoll.
Okie dokie. Are we on the last line?
Yes.
Can?
Be careful.
Understood. Okay, we can wash it. Come on. Ooh, all of you.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I keep going. I'm sorry.
Mm-hmm.
Help us pick it up.
Awesome. Thank you.
No
You're
problem.
the longest one. I picked on you the longest. You were doing awesome. Sometimes toward the end, people say, okay, I picked up the pattern. And that's exactly the point here is you've picked up the pattern. And that's what's difficult for many of our students with dyslexia is they're not picking up the pattern. And that's where we have to help them be explicit. The pattern, as Melanie is saying, and context. So raise your hand. You want to take a test on this? Anyone? I'm not seeing anybody saying yes on that. Really? Nope. No hands. Looking for hands raised. Jamie, you ready to take a test? Most people are saying no, thank you, because we spent so much time and energy decoding that don't ask us to take a test on it. So I have a special primer that I'm going to bring up. I have to slide my screen over here for you, my PDF. Come on. That's not working that way. Come so much time and energy. That's not working now. Let me go back to here. My PDF, come on. All right, open up. And this, we're not going to do the whole thing because it's going to be kind of rough doing without you holding it in your hand. But I do want to share with you another way of doing a simulation that kind of mirrors the work we have to do, the kids with dyslexia have to do to remember the symbols and the connection between a symbol and a word. So this is the front of this primer. I'll make it as big as I can, but I also want to make sure you can see the whole thing, and then we'll slide down into the words. So in this primer, you can see a picture, and that's going to help with some of the understanding. And if I were doing this with you as a simulation in person, I would say, okay, now remember everybody, last week we learned 3 new words. We learned the word wizard, and we learned elves, and we learned books. We know these words really well, right, everybody? So that when you see these in text, you're going to know those words. And anytime there's a new word in text, it's going to have the parentheses and what that translation is for us. But we're going to go ahead and just not have to worry about these ones because you know them, right, Lindsay? You know those 3 words: wizard, elves, and books. All right. So let's start us off. Lindsay, we've got a picture here that will help you write. Would you start? Have you done this before, Lindsay?
You and I did it when we were going over the presentation. I remember.
Let's ask somebody who has, let's see, Mikhail, I think did you read for us? Mikhail Olson? You're contributing in the chat box.
That's because that's easier.
I
have no idea. Are you in all these? I don't know what the rest. I see you and busy. I don't know what the rest is.
Let's tell me, but in full screen mode. There we go. Are you in all these? What's that word? Oh, a lot of people are telling you that's books. Well, we can look at a picture that can help with that.
You are busy. Who can help me with that last one? Busy elf. Okay.
There you go. All right. So now let's try some more. Someone else. Who wants to try it? Freya, have you done this one before? Yes, you have. Let's choose someone who has.
Sorry.
Janet. Janet Scott. Do you remember any of those words?
Let's say, I can't remember which one says books and which one says elves.
Well, let's go back to that last. Well, actually, we're supposed to go back. That would be helping too much. We
are
busy
elves.
There we go.
Wow.
We are in all these books.
There we go. Wow. That takes a lot of memory of what that sound symbol correspondence is, isn't it? So I'm not going to do more of that because that one's too difficult for us to do virtually. But I do want to take some time to talk about what was difficult about all this. So I do have the annotations feature on so that you can stamp what stood out to you as we talk about this. So you can go to the annotations by going to up at the top of your screen where it says you are viewing Alicia Roberts Frank's screen, and you can click options and you can click to annotate, and you can get a stamp where you can say, wow, that one stood out to me with the star or the heart. I see some people starting that already, or a question mark. So put some stamps or some drawings. What made this difficult for you? And while you're doing this, I'm going to run and turn off my heater. Okay, lots of Lots of stars all over. So decoding the words with unfamiliar patterns is getting a lot. Stress of performing in front of others. There are only 230 people on here. How can that be stressful, right? Following along as others read, processing what people are reading, understanding and remembering what's being read, and fear of being called on to read. I definitely felt that from everyone. And these are things, these words actually came from the students themselves. In Portland, Oregon, in the Oregon branch of International Dyslexia Association has a group that they call the student panel, where the students teach each other advocacy. And they actually said this about, I can see lots of stress there. So we'll stop. I'm going to clear it all off. I love having that power. I think it's really useful. We'll keep you. So let's pause here. And we're going to stop annotating because that will get in our way. But these were the students' words themselves, as you'll find in a moment too with the other writing as well. Okay, so stop the annotations and move on to the next one. I have to say, easier said than done, right? Let me get my mouse. Okay, so now we're going to do some writing. Now for the writing, you're going to need some of your own materials. So hopefully everybody has a pencil you can use, piece of paper. I was gonna say whoever, Kate, you're gonna need to get up. You've gotten up because as I said earlier, this is going to be very experiential. Can't do a simulation and feel what it feels like unless you're actually doing things. So everybody is going to need a pencil, a piece of paper, and preferably an uncomfortable pencil. When I do this in person, I bring with me golf pencils. I want you to have something really tiny so that it's not going to be the most comfortable thing for you. And you'll notice this bottom middle box, you're going to be using your non-dominant hand to write. I just remembered, my apologies everyone, this is doing multiple things at once, being my, I'm going to put on the live transcript so that we can see and help each other that way. Okay. All right, so everyone has a piece of paper, a pencil. I want to make sure I give you a moment to get that in town. You're going to be copying down the text on the next slide. And Lindsay, did you and I talk about this one as well? How you can support me? Follow along.
Tell me what I can do.
You can follow along with me. Okay. All right, so you'll be copying down the text that follows on the next screen. You'll be using your non-dominant hand. You should be able to complete it in about 2 minutes. All right, class? So this on your next screen, you will see our morning message. This is our go-to. This is going to be our daily oral reading that we're going to talk about. So please copy this down and then we'll go through and talk about the spelling and the grammar and etc. after everybody has this down. And so Lindsay, what I was going to ask you about is, did you get permission slips from everyone, including the Sarahs and Michael and Mary, for the field trip next week?
You know, I asked Mikhail and I asked Rich to turn those field trip forms in. I called home multiple times. I put notes in their backpack. Nope, still don't have them.
I would hate for them to have to stay in at school while the rest of us are going on that field trip. And did you also say that we are out of chocolate milk?
Yeah, chocolate milk, carrots. I think we need some more lettuce.
Okay, well, we'll have to make sure too that Maddie knows that her mother is picking her up from school after school today instead of taking the bus. And Miss Denise, I think that the principal wanted to see her, so we'll need to make sure that during recess she goes to talk to him.
Okay, and don't forget the announcement for School Spirit Day tomorrow.
Thank you. Thank you. All right, class, you should be about halfway through, or at least, you know, like I said, it should be a couple minutes to get that down. And we'll finish up our attendance. And Lindsay, your last name is Mayatish?
Mayatish, yes.
And did you check everyone, make sure everyone's here? You looked at the attendance list.
Okay, I see Janet is present. Freya is present. He was looking for Nancy. Oh, there's Nancy. Nancy's here.
All right, great. Thank you for that. Okay, so everybody should be finished with your writing. And we'll go ahead and wrap that up. And feel free on the next screen to talk about what made this stressful for you. Was it reading from the screen, which for some of our kids, that far point copying can be very difficult? Was it that letter for letter transcription because this was a foreign language to you, literally? Is there anybody here who speaks Welsh? I see a lot of knowing that you had a limited amount of time to get a complete set of notes. That difficulty in the physical act of handwriting. A lot of people are circling and starring the difficulties with spelling because those language patterns are unfamiliar. And problems listening and writing at the same time. That's why I asked for Lindsay's help, was to be distracting in the background. And I'm sure probably people were thinking, please don't say my name. Wait, did I just hear my name? What are they saying my name about? So yes, and I can see a lot of emotions and feelings on this. I want to give you soon an opportunity to talk to each other, but I want to do one more first. So on this next one, I'm going to clear all these off, and I'm not going to be able to do pairs with this many people, but we will be able to do some small groups. So we're going to have one more writing, and this is going to be a small, short paragraph. You're going to write a paragraph about what you did yesterday. You need to do this by hand. You're not going to use the computer for this. And you cannot use the following words: A and B, for, have, in, of, that, the, or to. And when you're writing, make sure you substitute a T for every time you would use the letter B, an A for every time you would use the letter O, and do not cross out and correct. Make the substitutions as you write. So I'm going to pause. We're not going to talk and get in their way on this one. I'm going to let you just experience this. And then we're going to have a breakout for you to talk about these two things first. We have more, but I'm going to give you your brain a break from all this. Rose asked, is this still with my non-dominant hand? No, this one you can use your regular hand for. This one's more about the thinking than the actual doing of the writing. Okay. See how few participants I can get in a room. All right, so paragraph all done. I'm going to open up breakout rooms. And I'm going to give you, let's give us 5 minutes in our breakout room to chat about this. I'm going to give you actually 7 because the rooms are 4 to 5 people. And I'm going to automatically move into breakout rooms. If you're not finished, feel free to just talk about what this felt like so far. And your rooms are now open, and I'm going to give you the prompt here for your breakout rooms. What made that difficult? What was difficult for you? What connections have you made to students you know? Rowena, Blythe, and Angela, do you see your invitation to your breakout room?
I do not.
Let me see what I can do on that. I may change you to another breakout room. Oh, maybe you came in afterwards. Let me just put you in. Let me see smaller rooms. I'll put you down in room 50. Oh, here, room 30 only has 3 people. You should have an invitation now.
I saw the invitation, but I'm driving and can't do
Oh,
a
okay,
breakout
no
room.
problem.
Thank you.
Okay. Blythe, are you with us too?
That was me. I'm
Oh,
driving.
that was you.
Blythe.
Okay. And Mark Gear, are you with us virtually?
Yeah, I'm here. I was in a breakout room and then I got kicked out.
Okay, let me put you in another one. Let's see. There we go. So you should see another invitation. Jen and Dawn, are you just joining us or did you get kicked out of your room? So Blythe, since you're driving, can you unmute and do you want to chat with me about how things felt? Christy, did you get kicked out of your room? Nope. Katie Berry, looks like you're joining us. Were you not assigned or did you get kicked out?
Sorry, I'm dealing with parenting stuff. So
That's okay. That's okay.
I was in
I
a
just
breakout
wanna
room, they
make-
just weren't talking, so I shared my piece and then nobody was talking, so I just decided to pop back in here.
No problem. That's always the danger of having such large groups is that.
There were only 4 of us in there. Sometimes my kiddos have bigger groups, but I was just sitting because nobody else was sharing, and I feel weird. So,
Well, welcome back. They have less than a minute left. They have 42
Gotcha.
seconds.
Okay.
I was going to say, quick, we can share if you want to.
Katie, were you in a room or did you get kicked out?
No, I had parenting stuff that had to come up. So.
Totally understandable. It is 7:15. I can't imagine that you'd have other things going on.
Or a dog in the witching hour, or
Exactly. I think people are starting to choose to do that, to come back or break out. Now they have 60 seconds to leave their breakout. Let's see who is in here with us now. We have Katie and Vita and Kate. I love with the romper rooms. Amanda and Katie. So those of you who are back with us already, if you had a chance to talk to a group, great. If not, let's hear a little small conversation while we're waiting for the rest of the breakout rooms. How did things feel? What were some things that were difficult for you? What are some connections you've made?
my sister is dyslexic, so it just made me think about her difficulties. And just like, I remember it was mean, but I would laugh at her when she couldn't spell things and I could, and I was younger. But now it just kind of puts into perspective how she was seeing words and how she was seeing letters. So.
Thanks, Katie.
I think for me, I thought that I was I thought I was understanding the rules, that the A's needed to be O's, and I misunderstood that B's needed to be B's. And so I ended up messing it up, and I thought I was doing good. So after I realized that I was messing it up, I was like, man.
Yeah, I just realized how simplistic my writing got when I had to think about the rules that I had to follow. All the details of what I would usually talk about my day, I just wrote very simple, basic sentences just to get something down.
Mm-hmm. Thanks, Lisa. I thank Vera for the reminder to remember to remute when you come back in. But if I see somebody who's not muted, I think that you're ready to want to contribute.
Well, I have a question.
Go ahead.
I want to know, because I'm late to this meeting, and I asked this question in our break room, but do we have an agenda for trying to learn techniques to help our children with the education? Or is this just an empathy building? Because I already have dyslexia. I know where my student and my son is coming from. I'm trying to learn techniques for him because nobody was there for me when I was a student and I figured it out on my own. So I'm just trying to find out if this is the best use of my time.
I totally appreciate it. And this is an empathy building. I will direct you to some free courses that I have. I sent these to Rich, but for everyone, there is, if you go into pdenroller.org, I have 2 more courses on explicit literacy instruction for students who struggle to read and write. And I'm in the middle of one right now that you are also welcome to join. For that, you would need to, follow this link of tinyurl.com/explicit literacy instruction. I'll put it into the chat box. And
yes, please.
That this course is the same as what you see here, but it's repeated in February and repeated in March. And it is a 14-hour course, 2 hours about each of these different topics. And you can see the dates and lots of resources. Because we're doing so much virtual right now, I'm adding in as much virtual as possible, as well as recording links from all of these. So everyone here is welcome to join that. It's free sessions. That is via the explicit literacy instruction. And then I also, if you type in dyslexia, I have in full day classes once a month, although in December I added on an identifying and teaching children at risk for dyslexia. So these are 6-hour classes once a month, or in December there are 2 of them. So today is about empathy building and understanding what it feels like. So it's mostly simulations. The idea of today's was to walk in the shoes of a dyslexic.
And Alicia, send
Yeah,
me,
go ahead.
yeah, whatever you send me, I will add to some minutes and notes on our dyslexia page of our ISD website, as well as if we can manage it, we'll also get a video of tonight up on there as well. So
Perfect, sounds good. And somebody in the chat box had asked how I'm doing the live captioning. It's an option in Zoom now that we can do that, live transcript. Unfortunately, it doesn't always translate to recording though if you put it onto YouTube. So just letting you know with that, Rich. Okay, so let's hear from a couple of groups before we go on to a couple more simulations. How did that feel? What did it make you think of? Thank you for sharing, those of you who did. Especially like Katie, your honesty about how you used to tease your sister. I see that in my own children. That my daughter is the one with the dyslexic gene, and her brother is. We always have to talk about empathy in our home, but her brother has autism, so in our home we talk a lot about that we all have our strengths and struggles. And my kids, they complement each other. What one struggles with, the other is strong, and vice versa. But that's not always the case. And I think that having an understanding of what you're good at also is really important with that. So volunteer, you can raise your hand or unmute.
This is Rose Clemens. And I just wanted to say, one of the things I found that in our group, we talked a little bit about being at the end of the day, having to describe your day and thinking, okay, this is what my brain tells me, but it is so just so much easier to shut down and just write about something else, because it's easier to come up with sentences like I went skateboarding today versus I had a Zoom call with so-and-so and so-and-so. So it was almost like brain wanting to shut down and making what's the easiest path possible.
And I don't always do. In fact, it's been a very long time since I did that writing one, because I do one that is oral that we will be doing in a moment. And it is a different thought process to think about and to take the time with to do that writing piece. So thank you, Rose. Let's hear from one more.
I would say, piggybacking on the end of the day piece, is that oftentimes in the evenings, we're asking more of our dyslexic students. We're giving them time with tutors, or we're asking them to do homework, and we're piling additional work on them when they are so mentally exhausted. I mean, just having gone through that writing myself and then having to like even start to talk about it was, you're a little bit spent, right? And we ask so much of them.
I appreciate that. Thank you, Sandy.
Absolutely echo.
Go ahead, Katie. Kate.
Oh, I absolutely echo that sentiment with my 6th grader. She's just done after these 2-hour blocks of classes all day. It's really challenging.
Well, and you've done, well, we did do a bit. We did a couple of reading. We did the writing. There was one group I worked with in Oregon. We had a large group of teachers. It was all the teachers from the high school. And we had an hour. So there was a team of us, and we broke them into 3 groups. And at each group, you did 2 simulations. So one group did 2 reading, and one other one did 2 writing, and another one did an auditory processing, and I can't remember the other one. And then after 20 minutes, the facilitator rotated to the different groups. And by the time I had the 3rd group and I had the reading, they were just like, blah, 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 at the end of an hour, because it's just so much work for your brain. So I appreciate that. Okay, let's do a couple more, and then we'll have another opportunity to talk. And if there's time, I'll share that video. Let's see. Okay, we were here, and This is also from Rick Lavoie's Fat City. And the reason why I do this is to help our teachers particularly, but also our parents, understand why it's so important to develop our kids' background knowledge, why it's so important to have them watching things to help them understand the world and gain the content knowledge. So watching and listening and experiencing, because so often we think if you open up a book and you know 95% of the words, you're good to go, right? If we say, okay, if you get to 5 words you don't know, that's too hard, put it down, get something easier. That's been the rule of thumb. That if you know 95% of the words, what those words mean, then you can understand the passage, right? That's thumbs up. I'm seeing only a couple people here. Thank you, Rich. So that's what we're taught. So I'm going to help us illuminate the fact that that's not quite enough. So I'm giving you a list of words here, and I want you to take a look at them all and let me know in the chat box, give me a thumbs up that if there are any words you don't know. If I don't see anything from any of you, I'm going to assume that you know all of these words, that you understand, you can read, you know the meaning of every
Banks
word.
is on here.
Place my phone case and my screen.
It looks perfect.
See, I see one message. Try to scroll down to it. Nope, nobody's showing me that they don't know any of these words. Okay. So I can assume then if I give you a passage that uses these words and only these words, that you're going to be able to answer questions on and understand that passage, right? That's the assumption we have, right, Rich? Okay, well, let's go to that passage. I'll even give you some auditory support. If the known relation between the variables consists of a table of corresponding values, the graph consists only of the corresponding set of isolated points. The variables are known to vary continuously. One often draws a curve to show the variation. Who wants to take a test on that? Anyone? Tiffany has recognized that it is math. There we go. This was, in fact, 1945 math. Go ahead, I heard someone. Ida, was that you? Someone reminds me of when I try to help my daughter with AP Calc. I'm one, don't ask me to explain this. Someone says, part of it, yeah. When I did this with a team of the Teacher and Standards and Practices Commissioners in Oregon, I had one person raise his hand and I said, what's your background? He said, I teach math. Someone's saying it looks like engineering. So again, and someone says academic language, tier 3 content so specific. It's not just the words, because come on folks, you told me, you know all those words, right? But it is the way these words are used and put together. It's the grammatical context. It's the background knowledge that we bring to this that helps some of you who have a knowledge on math more than it helps others. Frankly, for me, don't ask me to do that one. So just helping us see that background knowledge is so crucial when it comes to understanding what we read, not just knowing the words themselves. Again, sometimes from some of you, it may help when I read it aloud. Some of you, it may not have. It all depends on what your background knowledge is and whether or not you know that. Yes, I'm saying the variables vary. Okay. Last simulation is a word retrieval. On this one, you're going to go back into breakout rooms and you're going to combine two things. You're going to do this word retrieval, which will require a little bit more time than you had breakout rooms last time, because you are all going to, and I'm going to have to monitor and make sure people are talking, because in your team, you need to tell a story. You're going to give a round robin story. So each person in your breakout room is going to contribute a sentence. And once you've gone around the circle, go around again. Each one needs to do at least 2 sentences in your story. So each person contributes at least another sentence. And it needs to be a complete sentence. and it must build upon the sentence that came before. So don't start thinking of your sentence ahead of time, like right now, because you don't know what the other people in your group are going to be talking about. So you'll need to nominate somebody to go first and then go around the square since we don't have a circle here. Caveat though, yours is going to be simulating a word retrieval issue, which is extremely highly concomitant with dyslexia. It's that tip of the word issue. You can't find the right word. This is the kid who comes and he says, you know, I went out with my friend, you know, the guy who's really tall. He's the one we always play baseball with, my friend Mike. Yes. And we went in this car. It was like a car, but it wasn't a car. It was this, not even a truck. It was a van. And we went, and you're just going, oh my God, can you please get that out? So this is going to have you feel what that feels like, because in your round robin story, you cannot use any words that contain the letter N. No N's. No N's at the beginning, the middle, or the end. So you're going to have probably at least, let me give you 10 minutes, maybe 15 to incorporate your story. N as in Nancy. Do you see that? Oh, there you go. No N's. Okay. N as in Nancy, no N's. You'll have about 5 to 10 minutes on your story, and then 5 to 10 minutes to discuss how these felt, because especially people said you didn't have enough time last time. So I'm going to put you in the same groups. And if you are in a group that isn't talking, please come back and I'll go in and I'll help make sure that people talk to each other. So you can come back at any time. I can ask you to, I can rearrange you and move you. So we're going to combine our word retrieval with a discussion of how did this feel. Okay, so I'm going to reopen the breakout rooms for you now.
Everyone had their cameras off last time. I think they were gone.
Renee, let me see which room you were in. Do I have you in a room?
Oh yeah, there's Susan. Susan and I.
And actually, you, Susan, Renee, Amy, and Keith, you are not in a breakout room. You're still in with me. Let's see. Oh, I see somebody in a room by his or herself. Let me fix that.
We left our room because they weren't talking. You can put me and Susan together. Hi, Susan. We'll talk.
Okay.
We'll talk to each other.
I had no one
Okay.
in my room.
I'm going to let you two just do it here. But whoever's in this room, we can do it here. I'm going to go join a breakout room because they'll ask you for help. So Susan, Amy, and you can see who else is here, right?
Yes. There is no M in round robin. Oh, are you guys typing? Oh, you're typing? Do we want to type or are we going to speak?
How do you type? This transcript thing is new to me.
Yeah. Well, I'd rather talk, but let's speak. Let's speak. Yes.
Did you try the story?
I'll start. I made no M. What? No M, right? No N. N like
N is in Nancy.
I made cauliflower tacos for my supper.
Yum.
I ate the girl ate the cauliflower tacos. Oh, you can add with her. Well, aren't we supposed to each add a sentence?
Yeah, you got it.
It is hard to manage this many rooms and people.
Were they delicious?
Yes, they were so good.
I made guacamole to eat with the tacos. I think it was safer.
Guacamole is my favorite.
I like that too.
Next, I thought I should make dessert.
What is your favorite dessert?
My favorite dessert is pumpkin bread.
Man,
pumpkin.
Just call it.
We're hungry.
Apple bread. You like apple bread.
Definitely not banana bread.
No. Whose turn is it?
I was so full after that.
I just remembered the breakout rooms are set, I think, for 5 minutes. Oops.
It's been a long day. That's okay.
I keep thinking I need to answer you back without any ends. Yeah. I think that's okay.
You've totally messed us up now forever. We can never say ends again.
It was all my fault. Okay. So at this point, let's please everyone make sure that you are muted. We will have a 4-minute video and then we will get together in breakout rooms for one last sharing out and then whole group. All right. This only has music, so if you can't hear, that's okay. It's just some nice music in the background, but it does require that you look at the pictures and read, ironically, the text. Sorry. I do apologize. I couldn't contribute to the chat box without stopping it or do anything without stopping it. But I do want to address a couple of the questions. One, Tiffany Henry said, why is dyslexia not recognized as a learning disability? It actually is in both the WACs and in IDEA as an example of a specific learning disability. So that is something that is recognized. And Vera asked about, is there a text version? I don't know of this particular video, but on the last slide where I have some resources, and I'm going to go ahead and jump to that as a background, because I know we're getting close to almost 8 o'clock, and I know that a lot of people have crazy things in their lives. That this one here, that you see these pictures, this is, and so I'm going to actually send these to, actually I can put this, I'll follow it so I can put it into the chat box for you. This top one is the What is Dyslexia from Kelly Sandman Hurley, and it's one of my favorites on just a quick overview about dyslexia.
Bring the pellets.
So I'm going to put that into the chat box now.
Canva, a tool that makes designing
And then open the chat back up. And then the other one is the kid-friendly version that my own daughter wanted. So when she was in first grade, she said, Mom, can we find something to share with my friends so they understand why I'm not reading the same kind of chapter books that they are? So we looked at a lot of videos, and frankly, she really loved, and I didn't put this in there for you, was the Made by Dyslexia, was it Microsoft and Made by Dyslexia with Microsoft. Here it is, Dyslexia Awareness Made by Dyslexia. My daughter really loved these, but I felt like that's not necessarily good for your peers. This one is really good for kids to see and understand what dyslexia is all about. So I'll put both of those in the chat box for you as far as more kid-friendly ones. And this one is for individuals with dyslexia to really feel empowered and to understand some of the positives there as well. So actually, I'm going to think that because we only have a little over 10 minutes, I'm going to ask people, I do want you to be able to talk to each other. We could do a 5-minute breakout. So because we had a lot here with that question of what do you think? And some resources and ideas that I want you to share as well. So the Oregon IDA, the reason why I do that one instead of just the main IDA or the Washington IDA is because Oregon's done a lot for their accommodations. And as I mentioned earlier, their student panel where they actually have students talking to each other. That's the Dyslexia Training Institute. I'll click this one. No, okay, so I've got that one in there wrong somehow. The Oregon Dyslexia IDA has, like I said, great resources for kids and for understanding for parents and accommodations particularly. So that would be here. There's a Dyslexia Training Institute, the Oregon branch, and then improvingliteracy.org. So we're going to do one more quick breakout room. We have time to do 5 minutes of that, and then 5 minutes just a whole quick share and questions and answers at the end. All right, so we're going to do one more breakout room, and if you want to stay, we can have, you're welcome to, but your rooms are now open for small group chats. And it should be set on a 5-minute timer. Excuse me while I go get my cat out of the room. You are going crazy. Come on.
Alicia, I just bounced back in case you needed anything as you're wrapping up.
Thank you. We did say 8, not 8:30, right? That's what I thought.
You know, 90 minutes flies in Zoom. 90 minutes flies in Zoom.
Oh my goodness, it does. Well, especially because you think, okay, we've got plenty of time. Oh wait, where to go? It's always the case. Linda, would you like me to put you in a room or would you like to stay here with us?
Oh, I'm good. I'm good right here. This is good.
Okay.
If that's okay.
Of course it is. Of course it is. Let's see, a couple of things coming into the chat box. It's just hard when I didn't ask Lindsay. I should have asked you to co-host because I feel like I'm managing the breakout rooms. I mean, I did ask you to co-host, but I mean, to manage breakout rooms and chat box and all these other.
I know, it's hard. I was just running around trying to mute people as I was noticing their mics were coming.
I appreciate that.
Where's the working dog coming from?
Well, and because I think somebody had, I don't know, I think Richard said that there were 73 educators. So I was just astonished at one point to see 235, I think we had at one point.
Yeah.
It's telling me there are 2 people unassigned. So Linda and Renee, but Linda, I'll assign you, but you don't have to go.
Yeah, it's a little late in the.
It's gonna keep blinking at me if I don't assign you.
Yeah, I wonder if Renee had to step away because she was there a little while ago.
And there was the question that you could see I didn't address from the chat box, just feeling like, nope, not going there right now. I'll let you handle that one.
No problem. Have you looked at all at the South Carolina Department of Education's resources by chance?
Do they have a dyslexia handbook?
So I found it yesterday. I haven't had a chance to go through. They have.
Can you send that to me? Because I have a folder of things that I was sharing with Carrie Thomas Beck from Oregon.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't think South Carolina's was in there. Is it new?
They seem like they must have comprehensive plans related to dyslexia laws as well, but they've got 3 online modules. One's just on definitions, one's on screening, and one's on evidence-based instructional practices. So I needed to watch them, but I was just curious. The Kelly Sandman Hurley video was on one of them. That's what reminded me that I wanted to ask you about it.
Can you, I mean, are you interested in this whole folder of state dyslexia guides? Otherwise, I mean, if so, you could throw it in there, or you could just send it to me and I could add it on, because you could see there's North Carolina, but that wasn't very much at all. Yeah, these are kind of old. Yeah, if you could send that to me, that would be great.
On the way.
Because that's, do they have a decision-making tree?
Not that there's a tab for.
Okay, because that's one thing that I really appreciate about Oregon's is they have a nice tree. I think it was under universal screening. Let's see on that one. No, not that one. Guidance on screening. This one had the tree. I thought. Come on. Yes. No.
Is the council, Rich and I were just talking the other day about the state handbook is I'm sure you know, 2011. And I feel like one of the charges of the council at one point was to think about planning to revise it.
It is. It is. This is what I'm looking for. That is on our agenda, but we want to get through the things that are specified in the law first. It's just the screeners, but it is something we're working on. If we go to RSPI, recommended screening tools, we're in the middle of trying to finish getting those put up. So you can see we've got understanding academic screening tools. This dyslexia fact sheet is a good resource that we've put together. What is Dyslexia by Margie Gillis? That's a really good one. Looking at strengths, common struggles, classroom supports. And here is that video that I was just sharing. That's that see the kids.
Your brain
sharing is Oops.
Yeah, that looks like that was a relatively new add to the website.
I thought I had that website up. OSPI dyslexia, here we go. Yes, this is, most of the stuff came out this summer. This is all this. August, we did a, if you go to the OSPI recommend about dyslexia page, and you can sign up here to receive updates. And here are the updates listed here under the little plus. So when we did this August 6th webinar, that's when we talked about the release of all those documents. Hi, Leslie. Did people talk in your room? Oops, you're gone. People are coming back. Get back to our discussion. Okay, so let's hear some, we have people are 20 people back? Or else we've lost, let's see if the rooms, breakout rooms are gone.
Yeah. I lost my internet for a minute, so I popped back in here.
We still have a lot of people in breakout rooms, so 14 more seconds. That's all right, Rich. We were talking about the new resources on the OSPI webpage. Here are the updates, and here are the recommended best practices, including academic screening tools, the fact sheet, educational information for parents and families. All of these are in the screening implementation guide as well. All right, so I think we have everyone back now. Let me check and see if breakout rooms, they are all closed. So let's hear from a few rooms as we finish out our day. So Beth Adams, you are not muted. Would you like to share from what was discussed?
We just discussed how eager a lot of teachers are to really dive into teaching and getting professional development on how we can start implementing these practices, because we know how good they are for all kids. And that was a big, big takeaway that from all the research you read about, and being a K-1 teacher, maybe even starting with early childhood, if we could get a really strong professional development and trainings, then we can hit the ground running with our youngest.
Definitely, I appreciate that, Beth. Thank you. And that's one of the reasons why I'm so happy that I'm able to provide all those trainings this year for free. It's from additional funding we've gotten because of the inclusive practices work. So hence, please feel free, pass that on, share it. There are things like I said, it's open up to the whole state and beyond. It's via Zoom. So thank you.
If I could add to that, from my experience when my daughter was in kindergarten, every day I would go pick her up and ask the teacher, hey, how did today go? And she's like, oh, today was fabulous. Kate did a great job, this and that. And then by the end of the school year, they pulled me into a meeting and said, your daughter can't read. And I'm like, it's the end of the school year. And so we ended up having to hold her back in second grade and sending her to an entire summer of a special reading school that was $10,000 worth every penny, but we had to literally retrain her. So if we had caught that in kindergarten and first grade, we could have saved her a lot of frustration.
Right. And this goes to Priyanka's question of how do we know if the kids are struggling or just learning at their own pace? And that is, I would highly recommend looking at the dyslexia fact sheet. That it's a start. I mean, we were really limited initially to 2 pages. When it became an infographic with more, the text is different, it expanded up to 3. But nonetheless, this is a brief kind of, here are some things to look for. And yes, those parents can attend the trainings on PD Enroller. I do have a limit of 300 for each one. But frankly, we can see this as early as age 5. Younger, if you know what you're looking for. I mean, frankly, with my daughter, it was hard to compare to her brother, who phonemic awareness and phonics was his strength. But I saw early on when she was struggling to learn her letters And when she struggled with some tests that I was testing out on them, but you can see some of the rhyming struggles. You can see some things as early as age 5. So before she even started school, I knew that we had some concerns that I wanted to watch for. And so that early intervention is crucial. And the more we learn and the more we try to work on, I mean, this is just one of many, many sources. That's why down at the bottom, I encourage people to look to the IDA, the National Center for Improving Literacy, understood.org, University of Michigan Dyslexia's Help, and of course the OSPI dyslexia site and the resource guide as well. So
Hey,
let's do one
Alicia.
more. Yes, I'm noticing it's 8 o'clock, Richie.
Yeah, I just wanted to make sure that we took an opportunity to thank you for putting on this tonight for us. Dr. Franks continues to be a consultant that we're using as we're using